Well, welcome everyone to Stuff in Excel. I'm Richard, and what we're going to do in this video is take a look at how to create named ranges in Excel. Now, a named range is simply a range of data, a data that I highlight, that I'm going to assign a name to. Rather than just defining the range as from A1 to A20 or A1 to A100, I'm going to actually just define the range as a name. Maybe that name might be sales, cost of goods sold, profit, might be number of units sold. I can have it be a number of things, but I'm going to name that range of data. Now, let's go look at this file that I've got. And this file is available to you. If you go down to the description section of the video, there's a link to this file, and you can download it and you can follow along. So if we look at this data over here, what we can see is if I click on this cell up here in the upper left, the cell that identifies for us where our cursor is. Remember, we talked about that earlier in one of my other lectures. If I click on this and I click and I click the down arrow, it doesn't really do anything. I don't have anything named in there. I can name cells. Now, why would I want to do that? So let me show you an example. Let's say we're over here in the total sales column, and I want to do total sales. Okay, so I can do total sales by doing equals sum, going to my sales column, clicking in the first item, clicking Control-Shift down arrow, and I can highlight that range. And now what I can do, I can simply close the parenthesis, hit Enter, and it's going to give me total sales. So that's one way to total that. But there's an easier way to do it, and that is to use named ranges. So there's a lot of different ways to create a named range, and let's go look at each of them. So let's start with sales, and let's highlight that range again, do Control-Shift down arrow. And one way to change this name is to go back into this cell over here, up here on the upper left, and I'm going to highlight it, and then what I'm going to just type in the name of our range, sales, S-A-L-E-S. Now, I'll type that, and I'll click Enter, and it is going to now have that name. And I know it's a named range because if I click on the down arrow, you'll see I now have a variable or a range named sales. If I go back over to my sales formula, and I type in equals sum, now I don't have to type in a range anymore. I can simply start typing S-A-L, and it's going to actually find it. It's right there, sales. That little grid that you see right here tells me that that is a named range. And all I have to do is double click on that, hit Enter, and it's going to give me the sales number right there. So that's one way to create a named range. However, there's another way we can do this. Let's undo this particular named range. And what we can do is we can click on that range, Control-Shift down arrow, highlights it. Now I'm going to go up under the Formulas tab and over to the right and then down. See where this says Define Name? I can click on that, and I can use the down and Define Name. Now, it has picked up that the first column above this is called Sales, and it's going to name this range sales. I don't have to define the range. I don't have to type in the name. It automatically picked up that name for me. It tells me what the range is, and I can simply hit OK. In fact, I don't even have to do that. I can just click anywhere in the column, do defined name, and it's going to pick up that column is going to be called sales. Now, it only has the one item in it, so I'd want to get rid of this, and I'd want to make sure and highlight the whole range of data that I'd want included in that named range, and I hit OK. So that's another way to create the same named range. And if I go over here again, you can see I've got the variable named sales. Now there's another way I can do this as well. It's Excel, for some reason, when it comes to named ranges, they provide a number of different ways that you can create these names. So one of the things we might do here is we simply just highlight the column. So we'll go up here and let's highlight the whole column down to the bottom. And I'm going to go now up to create from, actually before I do that, I'm going to go to Name Manager. So I can go up here to Name Manager. I'm going to create a new name, and I'm going to call it Sales. As a matter of fact, let's call it Truck Sales, okay? T-R-U-C-K space sales. And I'm going to hit Enter. It doesn't like that. It gives me a warning. Just like with table names, range names require that you start the name with a letter, not a number. In addition, you cannot include a space in the name, and I included a space in there, right? Now, I could have put an underscore. That would have fixed it, and it can't conflict with an existing name. So, for instance, if I try to name this, let's hit OK, close this, warning. If I try to name this just sales, I've already got a variable named sales in this workbook, and it's going to give me up. The name already exists. It has to be unique. So in this case, let's put in truck sales underscore sales, and it would accept that as a, if I hit enter, it's going to accept that, because I can either use an underscore or I can run that together all as one word. If I want a space in there, I just put in that underscore. That creates a character that is an allowed character. I hit OK, and it's going to define that name for me. So now I have sales, I have truck sales in there, right? Now, there is a final way we can create this, and this is really helpful. If I highlight the entire range of my data that's in this contiguous range, it's not in a table right now. If I highlight this and then I go over and I right-click, so now I've highlighted everything, all 4 columns, year, quarter, sales, cost of goods sold. I can go up to Create from Selection, and I can use the top row as the names, and it will automatically create those for me. Now, it's going to be a problem because I've already got a sales variable in there, and is it going to show me? Let's go see. Does it show me that there's a problem? And it doesn't. It identifies that and identifies that particular column as my sales variable, so it doesn't kick it out as a bad name when I use the Create from Selection option. Now, the other nice thing about this, so let's go over here. I said I could do like equals sum, and we did truck sales, right? Sales, and that gives me the total. For cost of goods sold, I can also do equals sum cost of goods sold, and it's right there. I can double click on it if I want to, if I didn't want to type out the whole thing. So once we have our named ranges, it allows us to also have some efficiency when we're doing formulas. We can also add information very easily. So let's say first I wanted to add a column, and let's just call our column gross profit. If I go down now and want to add a formula where I simply subtract sales and cost of goods sold, I no longer have to identify a cell name for my formula. Used to, we'd go equals, it'd be C2 minus D2, and then we'd have to copy it down the page. I no longer have to do that. I can simply say equals sales minus cost of goods sold, which is a much more natural way of saying the formula, right? I hit it, and it's going to copy it all the way down the page, all the way to the bottom of my range. In addition, I can go over and I can use those same range names in formulas. So I can say for my summary here, equals sum of sales minus cost of goods sold. And it will sum up all those differences right there for me. And I don't have to identify again any cell references in part of my formula. So I can change these. I can add all this. It doesn't change my my cell references at all. I can actually add in a column, insert a column in here, and it doesn't mess up my cell ranges or cell definitions. So it's a really helpful tool to make a lot of your work more efficient. So hopefully that was helpful. We talked about how to name ranges in Excel. If you found this useful, please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell down at the bottom. That will let you know when we issue new videos. In the meantime, enjoy Excel, have a good day, and we'll see you real soon on Stuff in Excel.